Hello, a quick test the audio. Hello, a quick test the audio. Wait a moment. Seems there's something wrong with the audio, right? Can you hear me?
No, for me it's okay.
Okay.
I can hear.
Oh, that's perfect. Now it works. Great. Thank you for being here tonight. Why the online session to meditate together. Today is the last session of the 2020 year. And wish everybody a Happy New Year in advance. The physical time really exists, right? The physical time means the biological time. We are becoming aged with time. The body develops with time. It's all about the physical time. To have a more precise perception of time, we have developed all kinds of measurement to measure time. Century, year, month, day, hour, minute, second, even much smaller unit. It's tricky. When we try to use some measurement to measure time, the time is becoming a concept on the mind. Look at our consciousness. Look at the relationship between the time and us. Unconsciousness. Look at the daily grind. There are so many things related to time. Your schedule, the plan. Even there's a New Year resolution for many people to think about the future in terms of time. Also think about the past in terms of time. When human beings resort to measurement, it is easy for the mind to be caught up in the measurement. So, in a few days, there will be a new year, 2021. It seems time we are at the end of 1 year, 2020. Maybe we can slow down a little bit to just reflect. Is it a concept we are holding on to? Or is a fact that it is the ending of something? Do we really end something? Or we only resort to this concept of the end of something, the end of 1 year, the end of 1 day, or whatever? So in today's session, let's look at the beginning and ending. The beginning and ending, which seem to be two different things conceptually. But actually, when we look at it carefully, attentively, when we find that the beginning is ending, the ending is beginning. So before we really delve into today's session, let's keep silent for 3 or 4 minutes to empty the mind totally. Empty the thoughts. Forget yourself totally. This moment, nothing is really important. If there's really something, just be alone. Mentally be alone to feel this moment. The ending is beginning, isn't it? The ending of 2020 is the beginning of 2021. But is the beginning also the ending? Or not? Why does the beginning seem to be so away from the ending? When we are talking about life, in most people's mind, the beginning of life is the day first of a baby was born. And the ending of life is the last day, the last moment of one person that physically exists. Why is the beginning so away from the ending? What's in between? There's such a very big gap between the beginning and ending. And what do we feel in that gap? Isn't it all kinds of thoughts? Isn't it time? We use age to measure the biological time, which is easy to be a concept into the mind. Around that timeline, which is called age, in different culture, they attribute different things to a very specific time point. There are millions of different age groups. All kinds of things related to the concept of age in different cultures. We use thoughts, we use concept, we use our consciousness to separate the beginning of ending. In such a way that we feel that the life is so long, so eternal, but also full of all kinds of fear and horror. For young people, they think the end of life is very far away from them. But for old people, they think, oh yeah, they are approaching that day. The mind is changing, all because these thoughts about the end of life. So if it were the December 31st today, and tomorrow, maybe in 1 second, it will be 2020, 2021. What's the difference between this time and that time, this second and that second? Do we realize that we have developed all kinds of concept about beginning of ending, but we rarely to end the thoughts. Thoughts has given continuity to our life, to separate the beginning and ending. During this gap between the beginning and ending, the life is full of thoughts, full of concept. Have you realized that how many parts of life is purely based on concept, which can be a culture, tradition, all kinds of mindset. Have you realized that how much of the trouble we have encountered in life is based on thoughts? Thoughts make everything continue, isn't it? One day, I go to a park, a beautiful park. There are so many flowers, trees, animals. It is really a wonderful day to stay there, spend a few hours doing nothing, just wandering around. And after I come back from the park, I still want to have that feeling continue. Then I began to imagine that situation, to give thoughts to that experience in the hope of perpetuating that experience. Because it makes me feel happy, and the thought is very pleasant. At the same time, when we are encountering some issues, mental challenges in the life, worry, anxiety, whatever, subconsciously, we also give thoughts to the things that triggers us the anxiety. We keep thinking about that in the hope of figuring out the solution to it. But the continuous thinking about the situation only perpetuate the anxiety. The first example sounds pleasant. The second one sounds the other way around. But what's the difference between these two examples? It is all because of thoughts that give continuity to everything, to every experience. And human beings have been doing this to create what is called a life. There are so many books, literatures, novels. Nowadays, there are so many TV programs, entertainment programs, videos. Our life is almost purely based on thoughts. Every time we go to office or go to school, we're always in some kind of thinking about the security of the jobs, thinking about the title, thinking about the degree, thinking about the certificate, all kinds of things. We also think about competition. with others. And in the evening, we watch TV, watch all kinds of entertainment programs in the hope to derive some pleasure. Also from thoughts. Do we? The point is that, have we realized that the pleasure and pain always go hand in hand? How much pleasure you derive from thoughts will pay back to you in pain. Probably in different forms, but still thoughts. And this is the life we called for most people, right? Such a long river of life from the beginning of being born until the last moment of the physical existence. In between, such a life is full of pleasure and pain. Actually, it's a constant fight. A life full of sorrow, isn't it? So, a question we may ask ourselves, can we live a life where thoughts are not dominating? Of course, for something in life, I have to give thoughts. Thoughts have their places. But can I live a life where thoughts are not the dominating part? Can I live a life not based on the pleasure from thoughts? Not based on any stimulations from thoughts? Can I live a life simply peacefully and joyfully and innocently? These questions will let one open the door of the inner exploration to seriously think about, explore how to live a life simply, beautifully. Can I live a life moment by moment? What does moment by moment mean? Moment by moment. One moment after the other. Which means that, can I die now? Not physically, but mentally die to everything now. When I die to everything at this moment, then I'm reborn at this moment with a fresh mind, not caught up by the past. Which means that I forgive everybody. then the mind is no longer attached to all kinds of small things, the hatred, small issues, petty issues. If I die at each moment, I get reborn at each moment. For me, such a life is a life full of freshness. And such a life for me, every moment is a beginning. And at every moment is the ending. I only let thoughts have their places, but my life is free from the domination of thoughts. That's why we meditate, right? Meditate has a lot of deep meanings for us, for everybody on this planet. We can only live up to about 100 years if we are fortunate enough on this planet. But for such a short time, as the visitors on this planet, aren't we? We are just visitors. How to live a life beautifully. A beautiful life means a simple life, an innocent life. A life full of energy, full of compassion. Can I live such a life in such a beautiful way? Which means that I need to observe the mind to understand, why do I have these thoughts? Why do I react to it? Why do I exclude? Why do I resist? Why can't I accept? Why do I feel lonely? Why am I so petty? Why do I make everything so complicated? To answer these questions, I have to turn inward, to observe my mind at each moment, to observe my reactions, my behaviors, my mental activities in the daily relationship with anybody around me. I should observe the whole process of complicating everything. Why which is so simple, obvious. But why do I make it complicated? Not only in relationships, in all kinds of things. Can I be simple in a innocent way? In a smart, in innocent, in an intelligent way? That's the meaning of meditation. It's not something you can learn, but it's something you need to observe alone, all by yourself. Meditation means this mental independence, means your exploration all by yourself, without relying on anybody's views, opinions, whatever. It is up to everybody themselves to observe and understand. But unfortunately, this word meditation has been polluted by so many people in different ways. Even for even it's becoming an industry or business to sell people and all kinds of techniques. Here, we don't talk about that because that meditation is not this meditation. We use the same word, but it means very differently. To meditate is to end. We are living in thoughts. That's why we are so good at continuing everything. So the question is, can we stop? Can we end immediately? End the self, end the ego, end the thoughts, end all kinds of mind chattering, to be back to this moment. When the mind never ends, the mind is never be present, never at present, isn't it? The mind keeps creating all kinds of stories. The mind keeps ruminating about all kinds of things, all kinds of illusions. We can't really see the beauty of life at this moment. Right here, right now, like now, we are all exploring the mind together. Have you ever noticed that? The thoughts has become so intrusive in life, in such subtle ways. Even when we go to a park to see a tree, we immediately begin to find a name about the tree, want to know which species does this tree belong to. The mind immediately starts chattering, blocking the view, blocking the eye from seeing the tree. Every time we look at a person, the name immediately pop up. from the mind, doesn't it? That all kinds of past images, impressions also pop up. The impression can be somebody who make you feel comfortable, or somebody who has given you a hard feeling or whatever. When the thoughts are there, we can't really look at the person. Look at your friend. Look at your family. Look at anybody around you. Where there's thoughts, where there's identification, actually we can't see anybody. We only see the thoughts. So without ending the thoughts, the illusions or the rest of it, we are isolated. Have you seen this? We are isolated by all kinds of thoughts. We are isolated by the ego, by the self. What is the self? What is the ego? Isn't it also the combination of all kinds of thoughts about you, the title, what you have, or the ownership, the salary, the title, the position, your age, your name, all the things around this, and your reaction towards this. That's your self-image and whatever. Look at the culture around us, around the world. More and more cultures are becoming self-absorbed, self-indulgent. So the culture is becoming more and more individual. Everyone is isolated by the self. It's a funny sight, but it is something true that is happening now across the globe. Can we end all this immediately? Can we put away all the things human has created, all kinds of mental construct, in the society you are living in the culture you are living in? Can we put away all of that and just stay here at this moment with nothing? Only when we can end it, end this stuff, we can give our life a fresh start. A life without being bothered by the past. A life which is stuck in the past is full of sorrow, isn't it? Unfortunately, the society, the whole world is based on the past, based on the history, based on the tradition. Trapping generations after generations. Can we live a life without being bothered by the past? Can I live a life here, right now, just peacefully? Just look at you without naming you. without thinking about you, just look at you with my full attention. Can I listen to you attentively? Can I look at everything attentively? This attention is the meaning of meditation. So now it's time for us to meditate again. So in the next 10 minutes, let's follow the audio guide to quieten the mind, to empty everything. This moment, as we said before, nothing is really important. Let's come back to this moment together. Now, let's take a 10-minute meditation. Start by taking a moment to find a comfortable position to sit in a posture that you feel relaxed and get alert. Let hands rest on your knees or laps. Let the eyes close gently. Soften your forehead. Act a soft smile in the corner of your lips. Breathe naturally. As you breathe in, be aware that you are breathing in. Feel the sensation of breathing in. The region can be the nostrils, can be the belly, can be anywhere. Focus on the part you feel most. As you breathe out, be aware that you are breathing out. Feel the sensation of breathing out. The region can be the nostrils, can be the belly, can be anywhere. Focus on the part you feel most. Fix your attention on the breath. Let go of any thought, words, images. This moment, nothing is more important than breath. while you are listening to the bell. Check where your attention is. If it wasn't on the breath, after the bell, gently invite your attention back to the breath and sustain your attention on the breath. Slowly bring your awareness back to this room. Feel into your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes. When you are ready, open your eyes. Hopefully everybody has got some peace in the past 10 minutes meditation. So now that's all the content for today's session. But we still have some time left. And if somebody has some questions or something to say or to communicate, we can do it now. Maybe if you have any questions about meditation or anything about that, you can also ask or whatever.
All right. I want to say hello.
Hello. Nice to meet you again. It's a long time, isn't it?
Yeah, long time, yeah. Nice.
How are you?
Hello, Bob.
Hi, Phileas.
So you have been continuing all the time, like just moved online and
Yes, since March, because the virus was very rapid then, so we just moved the session from online from March until now.
very good.
Yeah, it's a very different environment than the offline session, because here it's difficult to see each other, and I can't really see people's face clearly. Sometimes it's more like self-talking.
It's good if people are with the cameras, like if there would be no cameras, then for sure like would feel like talking alone. But
Yeah, exactly. Because I think it's difficult to use the online session to replace the offline sessions, and these kind of human interactions is also part of the session we can do, but now online is very difficult. So let's just try to imitate the offline session as much as possible.
it reminds me like in Amsterdam.
Probably if you have time, welcome back to Amsterdam in the future. We can also meet to meditate again.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I also invited my friend Katerina. I don't know if also she's from Russia. I invited her also to this event today.
Oh, hello, Katerina.
Hello, thank you very much. Yeah, I really liked it, and I wanted to ask, how often do you do such events?
So this event has been lasting for 2 years in the past. It's usually one session per week. Usually it's on Monday, every Monday. So the first year it takes place offline because there was no virus, and since this March, this session moved online. During the first few months, it was held twice per week, but then it was returned to once per week. So usually it's every Monday.
Okay, thank you.
And if you are interested, you're welcome to join it in the future to meditate,
Sure.
to explore the mind together.
Yeah, thank you. I'll join. Yeah.
Any questions from other people? Or
Can I say something?
oh yeah. Hello, Ari.
Hello, how are you? Nice to see you every week now. It has become a very good opportunity to listen to you online. It
It's good
seems
to yeah. Please continue.
we are trying to come back to our natural state, but it seems it's very difficult to do that. I guess for many years we have formed bad habits, like to always the mind to run all the time. And I realized that even when you meditate, again you try to do it with the mind, like, or even to try to stop the thoughts. Again, you do it with the mind, trying to stop the thoughts, like to go to the natural state of just being and observing, but without doing it with the thoughts. It's not so easy. Like very often I miss it, at least. But okay, then I realize that I miss it, and I try to come back to the natural observation without thoughts. Sometimes I can do it, but not so often.
So the question we probably need to think about, what is a natural state? Have we really experienced the natural state of mind? Or it is only an image in your mind, which is only depicts nature, the natural state? During the meditation, thoughts pop up fairly often, doesn't it? But can you observe this whole process of the thought arising, moving, and disappearing? Can we just observe it without any control? Because the very control itself is also from thoughts, right? We want to have no thoughts. I don't want to have thoughts. I want the thoughts stop. But who am I? The me won't stop the thoughts. But the me is a thought, isn't it? As we just mentioned today in the session, the combination of all kinds self-image, title, position, name, whatever, even the age, a number, right? All kinds of things forms the me, the concept. And the me also want to stop the thoughts. But if the me realize me is the thoughts, I'm the thoughts, then how can I stop the thoughts? If I realize I'm the thoughts, what should I do? Doing nothing, right? Just observe it. Because you're the thoughts. Any control only leads to the chaos of the mind, because the thing which is controlled is the controller, isn't it? The controller is the controlled, isn't it?
Siko, I had the experience that if you try to meditate like that, if the me wants to stop thinking, you become very tired and you have a tendency to fall asleep or to be in a kind of beginning of a dreamlike state. It happened this evening with me, but maybe because I try to control the awareness of thoughts too much.
Can we observe everything that's going on during the meditation, also in your life, without any control? No control. Just observe it. Let the thoughts arise. Let the thoughts flourish. Let the thoughts die. Do we realize that we have given too much control in life in all kinds of forms? Because we think that the controller really exists. Because that's the self, the ego, really exists. So I believe that I exist, so I can control everything. And we keep controlling everything in the hope that everything can work as we intend. But now, probably, we can ask another question before we end the session today. Do you feel that the self doesn't exist at all? Do you perceive it or not? Right this moment, do you perceive the self, the me, doesn't exist? You don't have to answer, but you need to be honest with yourself. Do you really perceive it? Because logically, we can conclude the self is an illusion. All kinds of thoughts, all kinds of mental images. But do you perceive it at this moment? If not, then the question is, why don't I perceive it? And this will lead you into something bigger about your life. We can always do it again and again to just find that the self doesn't exist. But I still feel that the self does exist. Do you get the point here? Why do I have such a perception or such a misperception? Why do the human beings have such a misperception? Look at the culture, the values of the world. Isn't it? The whole world is based on this misbelief. It's obviously false, right? The mind, the self, doesn't exist. But why do we feel it's so true? To understand this, to understand why do I have such a perception? Can I have the perception that the self doesn't exist? And this is a journey of meditation. Anything which is built on misbelief only leads to all kinds of chaos. Look at the world. That's the best proof. The world is your world. It's my world. It's the world. It's the mental world, isn't it? So to meditate is not to control something, but to observe it, to return the perception. Because our perception has been distorted by thoughts in all kinds of subtle ways. Because it's extortion. We believe that the self exists. But can I free the perception from this distortion? Which means that you need to observe it. Observe this distortion. Then it is possible that you can come upon this natural state of mind. We believe the self exists. That's why everything is continuous. We give thoughts to everything. We give thoughts to the self. Then there's such a long gap between the beginning and ending. For most people, the life is the self. So everyone is isolated by the self. Can we realize, just perceive the fact that the self is always a disorder. The thoughts are always a disorder. Can we see the danger of the self? Like one see a snake which is biting him or her. If you see a snake biting you, you have immediate action, right? But if you don't see the danger of the self, you don't take any actions. So can we examine the mind? Can we get this urgency to take actions immediately? And this is a meditation.
Thank you very much.
Great. And it's a really great pleasure today to spend the last 1 hour with you guys to meditate, to examine the mind a little more. And as we said before, today is the last session of this year. And all the best for everybody for the new year. And I hope everybody can enjoy each moment. Because the year is a concept. Can we live life without these concepts? Just enjoy each moment. In that way, each moment is a new year, isn't it? To end, to begin, to begin, to end. There's no gap. And all the best for everybody, for yourself, for all your friends, your families. To all the people on this planet, to really enjoy this moment. Say goodbye to 2020. Also say goodbye to the past at each moment. No matter how old you are, if the mind is not stuck in the past, you are always young. A young mind is an innocent mind. It's a timeless mind. And only this timelessness is the true meaning of life and existence. So, finally, let's call it a day. And thank you for being here tonight. And hopefully we can see each other in the future sessions via online. And take care. Bye bye,
Thank you
everybody.
very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye,
Yeah.
everyone.
You
Best wishes.
Take
Happy New
care.
Year to all of you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Bye.